everybody, I'm Alejandra, librarian with the Osceola Library System, and welcome to Messy Media. Today I'm going to show you how to do some fun rock painting. I'll walk you through two designs, so this fun sort of fall tree and this more sort of fall leaf pattern. So super simple, fun, small canvas if you like rock painting. So all you're going to need is some nice clean flat stones. So I believe these are river rocks. I got these at a craft store, but you can, pick up some rocks in your local area if you would rather do that. A few paintbrushes, and then just a couple of colors of paint. So I'm using white, black, a sort of medium yellow, and a bright red. If you did want to change up the colors, you definitely can. But that's more or less what I use for these two. So, and obviously some napkins. So with that said, we can go ahead and get started. So I got my two stones here. I think I'm going to do the tree on this one. So I'm going to start by painting my background red for my tree. And rock painting is super fun. You really don't need a lot of paint. And it's fun finding these around town. I know some folks like to paint them and leave them at the library, leave them at the park. And they're super fun to find. I find these all the time. So, like I said, I'm just gonna do one side. If you wanted to paint the whole rock completely, you definitely could. And if you are gonna set these outside as decoration, I would also suggest using some kind of sealant over your paint. So like maybe some Mod Podge or some spray sealant, something like that, just to protect your artwork. Otherwise it will just, like when it rains, it'll just come off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and for my leaf, I'll use this one. I'm gonna paint my background black while I wait for this to dry a little bit. So again, I'm just gonna paint one side, but if you want, you can paint on both sides if you would like to do that. And then you definitely need a lot less paint. So I would suggest just doing a tiny dollop of paint. Like I don't have very much here, and I'm probably not going to use all of that. So there, I got my stone here. Again, I'm going to set that aside for a few minutes and I'll come back to this one. And I'm going to take my brush that still has a little bit of red paint on it and pick up some yellow, and then starting from the middle, I'm just going to try and blend that out. So it's just going to create like an orangey color here in the middle to kind of just help blend, because I want the middle to be yellow. And if it's a little messy, that's all right. Now, I'm not a pro at blending acrylic paint colors. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And then again, I'll let this one dry for a second or two. And we are using kind of light layers of paint anyway, so it won't take very long to sort of dry. I'm just gonna blend that orange in with the red that I already have. Looks good. So we'll give that a couple seconds. And like I said, since this is a pretty light layer of paint, it's pretty much dry. Not completely dry, but that's okay. So now for this one, I'm gonna go back to my leaf, my rock with the leaf, and take some white paint, and I'm just gonna do sort of the outline of where I want my leaf to go, so that when I put my reds and oranges on top of it, it'll stand out a little bit more. So I'm just gonna do a sort of teardrop here with the white. And just fill it in. And same thing, it's okay if it's not perfect. I just need a little bit of white here in the background just to help the color stand out a little bit. Okay, and then my little stem there. Okay, and I'm just gonna add some edges to my leaf here. Okay. So you go, not perfect, but that'll be fine for when we add the colors on top of it. Okay, and then again, I'm gonna go back to my rock that's gonna have my tree and add some yellow in the middle there and sort of try to blend it out. So I'm gonna take from the middle and just pull towards the outer parts. Okay, perfect. So I'm pretty happy with that. So now that I have my background, I'm pretty happy with it. Again, ideally I would want to let it dry a little bit at least, but I'm gonna go ahead and just go in with my tree design. So I'm gonna start from the bottom and then kind of just randomly do the branches here and there. It does help also if you have like a picture maybe to reference while you're doing this, just so you know more or less where you want some of your branches to go and your curls. I want one right there. And rock painting can be very relaxing too, because it is such a tiny canvas, so it doesn't take up much of your time. Okay. And like I said, since my background is a little bit wet still, the color's a little bit muddy there, but that's okay. And you just keep adding branches here and there, get creative. Get my roots. And then on my other rock, I kind of just added a little heart at the bottom too. I'll go ahead and add my little heart. Okay, and there's essentially that rock. So again, I would probably let this dry and go over it a little once more, maybe with the black. But that's that rock. And then when we come back to this rock, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a pretty small brush, just clean it off. And then I'm gonna try and fill in that shape with my yellow. So it might mix with the white a little bit, and that's fine. It'll give you sort of a lighter yellow. And this one's kind of more just feathering in those colors. And I got a little bit too much paint there. I'm gonna keep feathering in that yellow. See, and now that we have that white in the background, it kind of helps the yellow stand out a little bit more. Okay, and then right on top of that with the red, if it blends a little bit, I'm okay with that. I think it looks nice. And you can keep going if you wanted to add some brown or some other colors or some orange. Up to you. I'm just gonna go down the center there and then kind of do a little swirl maybe here at the bottom. I guess to kind of show that it's like a leaf in the wind. And that's that one done. Again, you can always go back in if you wanted to let it dry for a minute or two and then add some more details. You could totally do that. But then there's that. There's your other rock. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you check out osceolalibrary.org for more information about our services and programs. And tune back in next week for our next Messy Media, where I'm going to show you how to do some chain pull painting. Thanks!